Hello and welcome to the Sweaty the Farmer and the game design. That was weird. We beg the Leech Interstellar God for better loot. Yes, we do. We put some candles on it. It is marvelous. This is episode number 633, Looting with Friends. I am the long-name gamer as the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the Farmer. Thanks for joining us on this episode. This week we cried out loud to RNG gods and despair in their absence.
Oh no. Where do you go? My RNG god. Where do you go? I wanna know. Anyways, in the docket we have more group activities for Destiny 2, please. Loot problems in World of Warcraft and stuff. And finally, misunderstand mechanics in Monster Hunter World. So before we begin, as usual, we bring you our disclaimer. The discussion here is based on our own opinions and our own in-game experience. Everything we say, do, and communicate with our mouths can be wrong or right, or not as wrong as right. We try to fact check, but sometimes we don't know. So yeah, if you are not with us in some opinions, you feel free to say something in the comments or send us an email or Twitter. Strongly agreeing or disagreeing. We take everything.
We take it.
Yeah. All right. So, what do we have this episode, my friend? More things that Destiny 2 has to do.
More things that Destiny 2 has to
become an actual great game. So what is this about?
This is about words.
Words? This is about words?
No, they about people demanding more 6 people activities for Destiny 2, basically.
Yes.
Which, after the sunsetting of the menagerie,
yes,
it is needed.
It is needed. Like the last 6 people, new activity that we had was the sundial.
Was the sundial, yeah.
Correct, which was menagerie-like kind of activity. And we thought that they were going to take that direction, but there was nothing in Beyond Light. There was nothing in the season. There's nothing on the season before that. It doesn't seem likely that it's something in the next season for what we know in the lakes. So yeah, what happened?
I don't know. It is weird. Just again, Destiny 2 has these two. How do we call them? These 2 realms of activity.
Yes.
The 3-man stuff.
Yeah, the 3-man stuff, the single player stuff, and then the 6-player stuff. And in this, the 1-player stuff is like it's 50% of the game, 60% of the game.
I mean, it's pretty much the world content.
Yeah, which is the single player thing. So
which it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to be, but it's is designed that you should be able to do it by yourself.
It is designed that you should be able to do it by yourself.
And that is work content and lost sectors.
Yep. Lost sectors are kind of a solo challenge. Yeah. At this point in the game.
And then we have the 3-player content, which is dungeons and strikes. And that's it.
Dungeons and strikes. That's
then a special. And now they have like the legendary lost sectors, which can be done 3 people or single player. They're designed around single player, but it can be done by 3 people.
They can, but I think the chances for better rewards come from soloing those.
Yeah, correct.
So I feel like that encourages solo gameplay.
And then we have the season teams, which in this and last season was single player for the majority. Go and do the hunt and the thingy are designed around single player. Again, you can do it with 3 people, but they're designed around single player.
Yeah. We also had at some point Nightmare Hunts.
Nightmare Hunts,
which are like something between a lost sector and a strike.
Correct.
Either a short strike or a long lost sector.
Yes. Yes. And then we have the 6-player content, which in this moment is PvP. And like PvP. the majority of the PvP.
And the weird thing with PvP is that you don't. Okay, like competitive PvP.
Competitive PvP is 3-player activity.
Is the only one? So really PvP then doesn't apply because you can matchmake for casual PvP.
Correct. You can matchmake for all the PvP except competitive.
Okay, so
do we count it as a because there's some like the manager, you could matchmake for some menagerie stuff.
Yeah, but like let's say the most difficult menagerie, namely the heroic version.
Correct. Yeah, you have to have 6.
Was not matchmake.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. So
and what I'm saying is, casual PvP doesn't have
constraint.
Like a mode.
Yeah.
That is just pre-made groups. It is always matchmake. So that's what I was thinking about competitive, but you're right. Competitive 3 doesn't have 6v6 activity.
No. It's just 3 players and you have to bring your other 2. Yeah,
so if...
No, correction. No. It's 3-player, but competitive can be matchmake. Trials cannot be matchmake.
Competitive can be matchmaked?
And trials cannot be matchmake. So there are 2 different things.
Trials can be matchmake.
Can it?
No,
cannot be matchmake.
I'm thinking about the wolf thingy. Yeah, no, trials cannot.
No, trials cannot be matchmake. Competitive, like the competitive playlist, when you earn competitive points, it can be matchmake, but it's only
can be matchmake.
Yeah.
So not even that. I wouldn't count like if you can matchmake.
So you put PvP, all PvP in single player, technically speaking?
I would.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, like if you design an activity and you don't allow matchmake, from my point of view, the message that you're sending is this is an activity that requires high levels of coordination.
Fair enough, yeah. I know what you mean.
So it is designed around the coordination of a team.
Correct.
And even though competitive PvP shines more when you have that, the fact that you can matchmake means that you can kind of brute force your way through.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which kind of defeats the purpose of having a pre-made group.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we can put all of the PvP, the 80% of the PvP activities under single player.
Yeah.
In technical terms, and we have trials. We have trials as the 3-player activity in terms of PvP.
Yeah.
And trials is once a month.
On top of.
And then we have what is the name? I forgot. With the drifter and stuff.
I forgot.
You forgot too, right? Gambit. There you go. Thank you. So we have Gambit, which can be matchmade, but it's a big experience.
Yes, but isn't that 4v4?
4v4, correct.
Okay.
So where do we put Gambit? We put it again into single player under the umbrella that you can matchmake into it, even if it's a big.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't, in my opinion, if it doesn't have, that's one of the failings of in my opinion, of Gambit. For as much as I enjoy the game mode,
Yeah.
the fact it is the funnest when you have a coordinated team.
Yeah, correct.
Doing like taking care of a specific role.
Correct.
When you have
Absolutely.
that, the game is super fun. Like,
Yeah, when you have like a person who's going to invade all the time, a person who's just gonna farm everything.
Or you can talk it like, okay, I have special ammo and super, let me go invade, and then you
Correct.
go invade.
Yeah.
Or you have a person in charge, okay, I'll take care of invaders and blockers because you can nuke single target.
Yeah, correct.
And then you have someone who's clearing up the trash and getting the modes and like in that, when it's coordinated, it's super fun.
Yeah.
But there was never a playlist for that level of engagement with the mode itself.
Yeah, correct.
So since you could basically and Gambit suffer from more problems more than that, like the AFK at some point.
It's other type of problems. Yeah.
So basically you could like brute force your way through. And when you're in those, like the matchmaking takes away that fun part of the experience, in my opinion. And it became that's why it became like this grindy mess that was just boring and people didn't want to play it.
Correct.
Because it was people fighting our modes, fighting our invasions, fighting our stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So the matchmaking experience was never enjoyable. Like we had when we did it, like in teams of 4, we had a ton of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a ton of fun. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
When we're farming for like some of the quests for exotics that we did it together, like it was just they have to farm invasion kills, and then you let that person go and get their invasion kills, and like chill, it's fun. But doing that in matchmake is just a pain.
Correct.
I wouldn't really put it in the group content just because
of that.
It didn't have a playlist for that.
Fair enough. And then that's it. That is it. And then we have raids at the end of that, which is necessary for you to take your team to do the raid.
Yeah, but it's the only 6-person activity that you have.
Correct.
Before we have the heroic menagerie.
Yes, which was super fun activity to do.
It was super fun.
You needed coordination when you're doing the heroic version.
It's and so now we don't. It seems like we don't have enough.
Yeah, and then the sundial was the same, like a 6-person. You have matchmaking, but you have a special event when you have to take your team to get more loot out of it.
Yeah.
So what happened with that activity? It was great.
The
menagerie was one of the most praised pieces of content in the 4 years that Destiny 2 has been doing its thing, right? And it's like, is that thing about like if you find something that gives you that clicks with players, that is successful, that is a system that is working where everybody's happy. The logical is taking that and trying to study it and reproduce it and improve on it.
Yeah,
and iterate over it.
That's one of the places where they should take a chapter from the Path of Exile.
Correct, exactly.
That is that simple.
Yeah.
The menagerie was successful, and they just let it die by not keeping it like the drops relevant.
Yeah, up to date. The Leviathan was huge. They could have been updated. They could have added new rooms to it.
It was. We believe it was an easy upgrade because it seemed that it was built in a modular manner.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, especially because the order of the rooms were random.
Was random.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, you say, all right, Second, the Leviathan with the setting where it was constructed, it is huge. So you can add rooms without any problem. Just open a door, make more architecture. and that's it. You're done.
Like for the menagerie, it really doesn't matter. Like it's just like it was random rooms connected by corridors.
Correct.
So
yeah. So there we go.
it doesn't really have to fit anywhere.
Yeah. And you can like keep that man.
You could have the same corridors, just make new rooms.
Yeah. You can even like even with the excuse of the vaulting of all the content, you could say like, oh, it's just like the Leviathan is now in ruins or whatever, and then the manager is taking more places, and then you close the other 3 raids.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It is. The Destiny is in a position where like practicality of just getting the content out there should precede lore consistency.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm saying that I'm just giving them the excuses.
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Like they shouldn't keep content away because the lore. It's important. You can find a workaround. It doesn't really matter. The game is hurt more by taking away these few big group activities that were proven to work.
Yeah.
Because people enjoyed them.
Big success. Yeah. The system was interesting. The room system was interesting. The targeting of loot was interesting. Jesus. And on top of that, one gripe that I told you that for me it sounded ridiculous when they vault all of this is that in the menagerie, in that system existed the shooting range from Destiny, that you actually grind to open the shooting range in Destiny, and they remove it and they didn't replace it with anything, and nobody's talking about that because Destiny has so many other problems.
Okay, like the shooting range, I have come to know that it should be a base feature. It should be a room in the tower that you can go and shoot your weapons and try them out. Yeah. Like any shooter game. Correct. But okay, like that you can say that's a quality of life. Yes. Fair enough. Yes. You don't need it. Yeah. But I feel like having engaging 6 people activities is not a quality of life. It's part of what the game should offer. And we talk about the other piece of functionality that the menagerie was giving to the players, which was training wheels for a raid. Basically, that was lost too. A lot of raid mechanics, kind of simplified. Yeah. It had a really. It was filling a really important niche in the game. Correct. And like that was lost too with that piece of content going away, because the sundial was something similar, but it wasn't that structured and didn't have that strong raid-like mechanics. There were some. Sure. Yeah. But nonetheless, it was still a successful activity. Like people like the sundial. Correct. It was easier than the menagerie, just a little bit more straightforward, but it was still successful. Correct. Which shows that Destiny players are hungry for these 6 people activities. Yes, and this like raid mechanics inclusion in a more small thing, so people can get used to doing that sort of stuff when they want. It was a smooth transition. Like you go do strikes some smoke mechanics, and then you do the menagerie, and they show you how the raid mechanics works in Destiny, which is very important. Right? Like for you and me, because we did a lot of menagerie, how easy it was to do the other raids and understand the basic mechanics that Destiny works with, the orb things. The basic kind of ideas that bring to a game whenever they do raid encounter.
Correct. And that's lost, and it's not being replaced with anything. And it's just a shame. Like just, the more success, I insist, the more successful feature they added to the game, and they just like throw it away.
With both the sundial and the menagerie. It just
yeah.
shows that people are hungry for that 6 people content.
Yeah.
Other than the raid. It's not that the raid is not good, it's just you probably like for Destiny players, like they do the raid once per week, they clear it once, they get their loot, and then they are out of that content.
Correct.
And I'm pretty sure, like, if you take like a dedicated Destiny 2 player, it will take them like a couple of hours, not even like a couple of hours to clear the raid, and then they're done for 6-man content.
Yeah.
For the week, which is a shame.
Yes.
Because because they cannot find the challenge that they're looking for. Correct. In that space.
Yeah.
Of 6-man PvE.
Of 6-man PvE. Yeah. Yeah, it's totally a shame, because we have, for the 3-player, we have a lot of outlets in terms of challenge. You have the 3 dungeons that are available now. 2 dungeons? 3 dungeons. 2 dungeons.
2
dungeons, yeah. The 2 dungeons that are available at Pit of Heresy and the 3P1.
Yeah.
Ascending, something like that.
The name, yeah.
Yeah. But those 2 are locked weekly too, so you cannot do the dungeon about.
Well, and it would be boring to run it like a bunch of times, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you think Destiny is like a Mythic Plus like system?
I think right now it lacks the variety to make it work.
Yeah, I know.
It has too few activities to keep it fresh enough.
Yeah. Destiny needs that 6-player complex interest and activity back. Definitely. And
they have tried they have had success on their corresponding seasons, and they just let them go.
Yeah, why? Why do you do that? Why? Don't let it go. If you love it, don't let it go. And I insist, like the normal logic is you have this piece of successful content, you iterate on it, try to reproduce it, study it, and if you cannot find a better iteration, and it's taking you a long time to find a better answer for that system, you just bring the original system back with the small tweaks, right?
Yep.
And I remember hearing for every franchise Destiny players that the sundial-like activity could get tiresome.
Sure.
Yeah, but not having it is not the answer.
It is the same thing as a menagerie. Like after a while, it gets old. That's why it needs to be maintained.
Yeah,
and that's why we thought the menagerie was an easy maintain. It was an easy win. It was already. It looked modular already. So
yeah, correct.
So that's an easy upgrade. Just make 2 new rooms, 1 new room per season,
1 new boss, and
make a seasonal room, for example.
Yeah, a seasonal room. Yeah, there you go. And seasonal rooms for the loot that you want to target.
Yeah. Make a seasonal room, maybe a seasonal boss here and there from time to time.
Yeah. And that's it. You're done.
it keeps it like they're aiming for short season.
Yeah.
So 1 room, 1 boss, it helps keep it fresh. I don't know. It just seemed like an easy win. Maybe it was not. Maybe it was coded in a way that it wouldn't work.
Maybe it's too complicated in Destiny, and they should have made Destiny 3. Man, Destiny has... Yeah, I don't know.
It seems more... Like, due to the fact that this has happened with different systems now, it just seems like this is the kind of thing that is not in their philosophy.
Apparently. Because they have had... Through the story, they have had successful systems.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that it doesn't seem like it's like a technical issue.
Yeah.
It seems to it's just not in their philosophy to do these things, which is it's baffling to me. But
yeah. And they have taken. I don't know. It feels like a decision thing or something like that, because they have taken. Well, they have taken all successful systems like the secret missions with puzzles and that sort of stuff, like the Whisper of the War mission and the Outbreak Perfected mission. And they have iterated in those things, and those are being great, successful examples of that kind of activity.
Yep, for sure.
And they have bring back those kind of missions every time they have an opportunity. But
do you think they're afraid of the 6-man content? Because the things that you mentioned are all like 3-man stuff.
It could be that designing a successful 6-man content is very difficult for them. Beyond the raids.
Maybe.
Beyond the raids. But I don't understand why, because the raids are excellent. And
no, you know that they have done, like they have created successful 6-man activities before.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the weird thing. It's not that they cannot do it. Like they clearly can.
Yeah. I don't know. But
I know. That's what I'm saying. That it doesn't seem to like a technical thing. But like even a design thing, like because they can design things that work, and they can implement them like just fine.
Yeah. So the question here is like, are they learning lessons through their big development cycle? Are they learning the correct lessons?
I mean, I would think so.
I would think so. Because at this point I'm not sure anymore.
Oh, no, me neither. But I don't know what to tell you. Like,
yeah.
It's very surprising the things that they do sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And like they we don't know the true players, but the big streamers are jumping ship from the game because of the sunsetting problems, because of all the promises broken, because
they haven't handled, like, I feel like this last month for Destiny 2 has been rough.
Yeah. Not enough.
I don't follow that many content creators, but I check the forums and Reddit and Twitter, and it's rough out there.
Yeah.
I wonder what the...
The ride they had, what happened was like the ride they had till the raid, and the raid is amazing, but beyond that, there's nothing else there in Destiny right now.
Yeah, the problem is that one raid cannot carry the whole game.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's just not enough.
That's the thing.
Or is not enough for what the game is trying to eat.
Correct.
If they're trying to eat this persistent MMO RPG like thing.
Yeah, so the raid
one raid per big cycle, not gonna cut it.
The raid was amazing, blah blah blah, but where is the new loot? What happened with the disaster of sunsetting?
And I was actually surprised at the whole sunsetting thing. Like people were like they gave it a chance.
Yes. Honest to God chance.
Honest to God. I heard complaints at the beginning, but it was kind of, okay, we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, everybody was like, fine, Bungie, we're gonna believe you.
and that's the disheartening thing, that it really felt like people were giving it a chance. Like, okay, we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. And then now people are like really like, come on.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
That's how it feels to me, and that's why I feel like in the last couple of weeks, like the salt has been.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. Yeah. I've seen like the main streamers from Destiny, Glad, and Battalion like moving away from the game because they're not gonna stand for it. Basically, I got the feeling it's not that they don't have anything to do, but it's just.
It's just that it seems like the game is not offering enough. Like enough.
Yeah.
And I don't mean enough in that there is nothing to do in game, but like.
Correct.
I don't know. It's taking away too much.
Correct.
It's not offering enough.
Yes, it took away too much. Didn't give enough, and it was a thing that people were expecting, but not at this extent.
So something people were expecting and were willing to take.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
For a while.
For a season.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened.
But nothing came out of that. There's a problem. Nothing happened.
Not enough new weapons, not enough changing the system, not enough customization, not enough modifications of subclasses to the variety of the game, not enough raw content, not enough new activities.
You know what it is? Like it feels like they took away content and people, and the reason was, okay, we don't have enough power to maintain everything.
Yeah.
And people said, okay, that's fine, but we want to see changes.
Yes.
And then the changes never came.
Yes.
Nor the content.
Yeah, because the big idea, the selling point that the community was feeling is like, all right, we're gonna make the game smaller so we can make changes easier. That was
that was not a feeling. That's what Bungie said.
That was Bungie said. We're gonna make the game smaller so we can make more changes more dynamically and change the world more the way that it should, and that implies like subsystems, subclass, everything, like the bones of the fucking game. Because now you don't have that ginormous quantity of content that you are spending all this development time maintaining. Then you should be more flexible on your feet, change some fundamental stuff of the game because the game is smaller now and you are able to manipulate it easier. That's what Bungie said, that the reason. But here we are.
Yep.
4 months after, nothing has happened.
Or nothing that the community can latch into to say, correct, okay, we see, like we get it. In 4 months, we're not gonna get all the changes.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been anything that people can see and say, oh, this is a good sign. Like this is incomplete, but it's just the little light at the end of the tunnel. The things, correct, are moving.
And don't get me wrong,
not even that.
Don't get me wrong, the static system is a good step.
It is
towards
good.
Flexibility. Yeah, towards what the subclasses should be. More flexible, give you more options, more specialization. But it's not enough. It's not enough. And I saw this post in the subreddit of a game developer talking about the things like you don't understand Bungie because I work with big developers and you have all these slow chains of pipeline development and they take this long, and if you have this idea and then you pass it through the pipeline and then you move away from it and then they change the base game a lot and then you come back away from it, blah, blah, blah. Right? And I was reading it and I was like, yeah, all that makes absolutely sense. It's like, yeah, Bungie is a big company, they have all this bureaucracy and pipeline steps to make content clear and change stuff. But they're not anymore a bigger company.
I mean, that's
in parts. And the second thing is like, you have been having these problems for years now. If and this is the point. If a year is not enough to implement a substantial change, you have a problem with your pipeline.
also, I mean, more than that, it's like everyone, and we mentioned this before, and I probably said this before. Everyone came down celebrating that Bungie split from Activision Blizzard, which fair enough. But I believe that they did it without a complete plan on how they were gonna handle.
They had no plan, apparently.
That's what it.
That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. They had no plan.
It looks like they done.
Yeah.
Because. Sure, like if they were still under Activision Blizzard, there was probably a lot of overhead, like a lot of things managed by Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
That has to go through pipelines and approve and things, and then
the pressures about delivering and probably pressure about doing Destiny 3.
And they decided to split, and fair enough, but it seemed like they didn't have a plan on how to change pipelines and how to change workflow to make it as agile as they were selling it out, because that was the sell pitch.
Then let's compare it with something more realistic. Let's compare it with Warframe. How long does it take to Warframe to make a fundamental change in the system compared to Destiny? Not a balance, because balance is changing numbers and that sort of stuff. Talking about fundamentally changing things like the redux of the melee system, or the redux of what's the other big thing? Of the engine, while delivering content in a reasonable time.
It takes them a long time.
Yeah.
But that's because Warframe has a different policy.
Yeah.
And like D has always been super straightforward, saying when we release something, we know that it's like the 0.0 version, and they say straight up to the players, we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna let's see how it stands with the community for months, and then they will make decisions.
Yeah.
That happened, for example, for Railjack, which came it came broken when it launched.
Yeah.
It took them a couple of months, maybe like 4 or 5 months. But they said, we're gonna like when it launched, they said, we know that this is the first version. It doesn't have all the mission types. It doesn't have all the tile sets. But we just want you to play with it and tell us where it's not worked. And they basically usually let things simmer for a couple of months before they make big decisions. After like maybe a month, they've made the first pass of big changes on Railjack. And after like 2 months, they make another big pass of between balance and cleaning bugs around.
Correct.
So yeah, maybe like 6 months tops for most things. Even though they could do it faster, they say that they won't do it.
Yeah, but on top of that, you have to take awareness that you have a yearly new content arrival.
For Warfare?
Yeah. A yearly?
Usually.
Every 2 years?
Usually twice a year.
Like, what was the time between Plains of Oblivion and Fortuna? 2 years. 1 year?
Yeah.
2 years.
It was like a year.
A year?
A little bit longer than a year.
Like a year and 2 months, something like that. It wasn't completely 2 years. And between Fortuna and Deimos.
Deimos. It's been more than a year.
Yeah.
The problem is that they came up front and said Deimos is being slow.
Yeah, it was being slow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They came out and said, Deimos, it's been delayed.
Yeah, I remember this.
Basically, the approach that they were taking to the new war, which was the transition for Daimos, was completely changed and scrapped.
Yeah.
But they came out and say it. Like, I don't like. It feels bad for the game, 100%, because people are still waiting on these things. And there are a lot of people salty about how D is handling the new war in Daimos. But I know they at least came out and said, we're just crapping it and delaying it.
But my point is, Warframe didn't have to delete content.
And when they do, they take it very seriously.
Yeah, correct. Warframe didn't have to. They didn't have to sunset any piece of their weapons, and their weapons are absolutely broken. I can't believe. For a time, they're broken for a time because they do kind of a yearly balance pass.
They usually do at least a yearly big balance pass for both Warframes and weapons, and they can rein in the most outrageous ones.
And Warframe never feels bad. And that's my point.
Warframe never feels bad, but Warframe doesn't try to be something that is.
Yeah, correct. So how we
can I'm just saying that because Bungie said that they want Destiny to become MMORPG, which it never really was to begin with.
No, it was a light looter shooter.
It was a light looter shooter, and they said that they're going to embrace the RPG nature of it, which... I think for me it's easier to take Borderlands 3 and make them a MMORPG. but that's what they said. Like at some point I remember to an interview they said they're going to embrace the RPG aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Which, that's a huge endeavor. And again, it just all stems from kind of this identity crisis that Destiny 2 has.
Yeah.
That it doesn't really know what it wants to be. Like a light shooter looter, an RPG, a full-fledged RPG, an MMO, not an MMO. It is. But it has this conflict of identity.
Yeah. It needs to take a direction, stick to it, and do everything fundamental that requires you to take to that point.
Yeah. So
and demonstrate that you're actually doing the fundamental thing, because it feels like they're doing content for content's sake, in norms to take the machine going and keep the money flowing, but they actually not doing anything that they want to do or they set up to do. So what was the point of separating yourself from Activision?
I know.
Yeah, right.
I said it before.
Just lose resources. That was the point, or get the money directly to you.
It seems like that now. It's just, I don't know. It's just. Again, it is the same thing with the monetization, like model. You remember that we talked about this? Yeah. But they were moving to this free-to-play that still charges like $30 per expansion.
Yeah.
That is kind of this in-between place that it's weird and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and it's charging for the seasons and etc.
You still have to play like $10 for each season.
Yeah.
So it's basically you still have to pay like $50 every year to play.
Yeah. So if you're an MMORPG now, well, charge like a MMORPG.
Yeah, do
charge subscription model. Yeah.
Or something. It just like from the monetization to how much of an RPG, how much of a straight up shooter it is.
Yeah.
It feels like it's trying to be everything, and it at some point ends up doing nothing really.
Correct. And now for closing this theme, it's like with all these problems and stuff of Destiny, would you think that Destiny could die?
I really don't think so. Yeah. The Destiny fan base is strong, and the game has a lot of fans. So
even if they're losing the biggest
content creators will come and go.
Yeah, that's true.
It's if a content creator leaves the community, it will get replaced by someone else. There are plenty of content creators.
Yeah, fair enough.
That for me is not it doesn't signify anything, especially because content creators needs to move away. Like the reason why a content creator leaves a game most of the times are not related to a game. Are related to that they need to keep stuff fresh and to keep making money.
Yeah.
So content creator moving away from a game, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, fair enough. Continue.
And the community in general, I feel, is just it's healthy. Like it's a good game. Like it has something good in the core. It's just wrapped in layers of weird decision.
Yeah.
And the game feels good to play. Again, the game feels good to play.
Yeah.
And it's fun with friends. So it has all this positive thing.
Yeah, but my question is how long will that take them if they keep on this?
I don't know. That I cannot tell you.
Yeah.
There is so much the community can take.
Yeah.
I don't think we're close to a breaking point, but it's been getting bad. Like we had really good. We had a lot of faith for the new expansion.
Yeah.
And it kind of right for a while, and it just plummeted completely. Yep. So.
Yeah. They broken promises, Punchy. Anyway, man, for a game that we don't play right now, we talk a lot about it.
It's just interesting, all the decisions that they make with the game. Man, that's all.
It's like wasted opportunities, you know? It's like seeing your neighbor. It's like seeing your neighbor with like a bunch of money and just burn it with gasoline. You're like, why? Give it away at least. Nope.
100%.
Yeah. My God. Anyways. All right. The next discussion. The loot problem in World of Warcraft. Is there a loot problem? Is there no loot problem? We had enough of podcast discussion about it. About feelings of what the community is saying about gearing in World of Warcraft right now. So... takes us away, Lucho.
So, I mean, there is for sure a problem in how the loot feels. And, I mean, to put it lightly, basically, the how the loot is working for current WoW is that the loot doesn't have any RNG on it, like on itself. So all the stats are fixed, and there is no randomness on Titan Forging or any like
or
on top thing that
or
can roll.
Anything random. Not even the legendaries. They're set too.
No, the gear is 100% fixed.
Yeah.
So to offset that, basically what Blizzard did was, we're gonna give you less loot, and they straight up say it, like,
yeah, which makes sense.
Like before Shadowlands, they said that we are gonna give you a lot less loot,
and you're gonna feel it.
And you're gonna. They said it.
Yeah.
It's baffling to me that people are surprised by they said it.
Yeah, they said it. That is true.
And basically now we are in this scenario where each like for example, for a 30-man raid after killing a boss, usually a boss drops 3 or 4, I think 3 pieces of loot for 30 people, which is not a lot.
No.
It's little, and we knew it. Like it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Mythic Plus, which is the other main PvE big activity, basically the end of dungeon, like after you finish the run, you get a big chest, and let's put it in context. It's like a 40-minute activity,
Correct,
more or less.
Between
give or take.
30 to 40
between
minutes.
30 and 40
take.
minutes of your time in a 5-man activity for World of Warcraft. You invest this time, and you can get between 1 and 3 pieces of loot for 5 people, but that depends on how good. So these Mythic Plus are time activity.
Correct.
If you don't finish in time, you're just gonna get 1 piece of loot. So it could be like a 50-minute endeavor that gives 1 piece of loot for 5 people, which feels bad.
And it has to do with the level too,
space,
right? Apparently, the level gives you more loot. At 10 and plus, it will give you another piece of loot, right? If you finish.
No, it doesn't. If you time it, it gives you more.
Yeah.
It doesn't depend on the item level. It doesn't depend on the level of the key.
Really? I thought it depended on the level of, like, if 10 and plus, beyond 10, it will give you an extra chance of a piece of loot.
Nope.
I thought
it depends if you time it. If you time it, it will give you 2 pieces of loot.
Okay. I thought it was. I thought it was dependent on the level of the key, not in the timing. All right, fair enough.
Nope. It depends on the timing. If you time it with a +2, it has a chance to give you 3 pieces of loot.
Oh, right. I see. Okay.
But that's not fixed. It has a chance. It may not.
Yes.
So it's basically loot is very. It looks very rare, or it feels very scarce when you're doing this endgame / pinnacle.
Yeah, PvE activities. We're talking pointedly about PvE activities here.
So there's been a lot of complaints about people saying that gearing up and getting loot, it's really slow, and it feels bad.
And then the best way to do it is doing PvP activities because of the system that PvP has.
Yes, that's what people say. But the main complaint is just that it feels bad to have so little loot, and like across activities that should drop loot.
Yeah,
to you. That's basically the main complaint. So So that's basically that. And I don't like did you click the red link that I put there?
Yep.
So this is it's basically a meme. of someone saying Shadowlands gives no loot starter pack. And it has a timer for a depleted key, which means that you're gonna get 1 piece of loot.
Yeah.
A Raider Mythic Plus score of 254, which is really low.
Yeah.
And 4 out of 10 bosses on normal, with no PvP. Which the meme is basically saying, you're not gonna get loot if you are not pushing the content.
Yes, correct. Because it should work all in harmony. You should do a little bit of PvP. You should do a little bit of PvE. You should do pushing.
The current system is designed in such a way that it encourages people to do
a variety of things.
The optimal gameplay is to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That's the most efficient way of playing the game right now.
Yeah, because the way that the pace is supposed to know is you do. Let's say we haven't talked about the vault in all this, and you have a vault that weekly gives you a piece of reward, right, from any of the activities that you've done.
Yeah.
So the normal way the gameplay gearing should flow up is you do Mythic Plus and you do 4 Mythic Plus, and you have a chance of getting 1 piece of loot that surely will be an upgrade.
You have 2 chances.
What?
For 4 dungeons, you have 2 chances.
for doing 4 dungeons, you maybe in the dungeons will get 1 piece of loot.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
In the dungeon you make
in the dungeons.
your group of people may get 1 piece of loot.
Yeah. So you say you run 4 dungeons, 5 dungeons in the week, right?
Yeah.
And then you go and do your raid with your guildies, and then you have some progress. You say you kill between 4 and 5 bosses in the week.
Yep.
Right?
Throughout the week.
And then you do whatever activity is the weekly, because the weekly activities will give you gear. That's important. The weekly activities will give you gear. And you do the whatever PvP weekly activity that week is, and they give you 2 options. And let's say you do 1. Right?
You can. I mean, realistically speaking, you can do whatever PvP activity as long as it's rated.
Realistically speaking, but you say like in a normal flow, in a way that the game is pointing you in what direction.
The game is pointing you that you should do a couple of Mythic Plus dungeons, you should kill a couple of bosses, and you should do a couple of hours aided PvP.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what. Like it
doesn't matter what.
Really related to a weekly quest.
But it is the efficient or logical or pointy way that if you're gonna do PvP and then you have a weekly quest that gives you a reward for doing certain activity in PvP, well, it's easier to do both, I guess.
It depends. Like the weekly activity is not always a reward for unrated PvP.
Correct. Yeah. So
the most efficient way is just to do rated PvP, and that's it. You can ignore all the weeklies because the weeklies don't drop gear.
Correct.
The weeklies only give
the PvP
animal.
weeklies don't drop gear. That is correct. So while doing all this, you are getting honor to buy a piece of PvP gear.
Yeah.
You're getting an option at the end of the week.
Yep.
Right? In your vault, and you're getting 3 to 4 options to choose what you need in terms of loot, and then you will get a drop from Mythic and maybe a drop from the raid.
Yeah.
Right. So that means that if you do kind of the minimum with the time that you have, and I'm not talking about dailies, I'm not talking about the renowned rewards, nothing of that. You should get around 5 to 6 pieces of loot through the week.
Not really. It's rare that you will get that many.
Well, let's say 4 pieces of loot through the week. Yeah, 1 from the vault, one from the PvP vendor, 1 from a random drop in the mythics that you run, and let me see, and maybe 1 from a boss that you kill in the raid.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. On average, for 4 pieces of gear per week.
Yeah. And how will be your? And then the question is that good enough for the time that you're investing in the game? So let's say, how much time will it take you to do a raid run to kill 5 bosses?
It depends.
On average, try to put it in a scenario. Because, for example, yesterday I spent 2-3 hours doing the 3 wings from looking for raid. As an example.
Okay.
And I did. That means that I did 9 bosses.
Yep.
Right, and I spent 3 hours doing that.
Okay.
And I'm counting the wait periods. Right, and then you spend to do the dungeons, the 4 dungeons, you spend 2 more hours.
More or less. Between 2 to 4 hours.
And then you do the PvP, which will take you between 2 and 3 hours too.
Yeah.
So on total, you are doing 9 hours through the week.
Yep, sounds right.
To get 4 pieces of loot.
Yeah.
and your guarantee advancement because of the vault. The vault will always give you a piece that you will need. You surely almost give
Okay,
you.
that comes with a caveat. Like,
Yeah,
that's true if you're doing the content at your current item level.
Correct. If you're doing the correct content on your current item level. Yes.
If you're pushing the content that you're supposed to be pushing.
Correct.
If you're not, then you're not gonna get it. Doesn't make any sense.
So that's the pace that the game wants you to have in terms of advancement of gear.
Pretty much.
Right? Is that too slow? Do we need a more of PvP system? Because what I've heard in the community generally is that the PvP gear is way faster because you can spam PvP and get a lot of honor, and then you can buy exactly the gear that you need and be super well geared before doing anything else. People are saying that the rewards at the end of the Mythic Plus for the time investment are too low. That includes gear drops. And the same for the rate. For the time investment, the drop of the rate is too low. So one of the embrace solutions from the community is that maybe we should get a vendor for the PvE activities with some type of currency, so we have the option of buying what we want as the PvP people have, but the difference is that the PvP activities don't have drops by themselves compared to the PvE activities that they have drops by themselves.
Okay, there is a huge problem with a PvE vendor.
Yeah.
And the problem is that you can spam Mythic Plus.
Yes. You can do the same with PvP. The difference is that PvP is not giving you rewards at the end of your activity. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
That is the big difference.
I know, but you can spam Mythic Plus.
Yeah, you can spam.
You can spam you can spam
arenas.
zeros.
Yeah, you can spam arenas and stuff. You cannot spam zeros because they have a weekly lockout.
You can spam twos.
Yes.
It's basically the same.
Correct.
Just for farming, just for farming talk or currency.
Yeah.
That means that the encouraged gameplay is gonna be spam as many dungeons as you can
to get currency and get random drops at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
That's not the case in PvP.
Correct.
Honor is capped.
Correct. Honor is capped. Yeah.
So let's say that we put a vendor, like a PvE vendor.
And we put a cap on it, like to make it the same as the PvP vendor. Yeah.
Then it becomes a shore.
Yes, I have to cap.
I have to cap.
Yeah.
And that's definitely like from BFA to Shadowlands, WoW has definitely moved away from the you have.
Yes, correct.
The game right now doesn't feel like you have to anything.
No, absolutely.
It has a lot of things to do.
Yes,
but
correct.
They really feel optional.
Correct.
Like let's say that this week you kill 10 bosses in the raid, so you have the 3 slots open for raid drops.
Yeah.
And you feel like, I really don't need 2 dungeons this week because out of the world you're still getting 1 drop. You're not getting more. So it feels like, maybe if I just run 1 dungeon to get the first slot and do a little an hour of PvP, with that you'll have
3
more than half a vault open.
Yeah.
And that feels like, that's a good week.
And that's it.
But it feels like the flexibility that the Great Ball gives the players makes the game feel that you have a lot of options, but not a lot of requirements.
Yep. All right.
Which is a very nice feel for the game.
So what me and Lucho agree is that the rate of advancement in terms of loot in the game right now is good.
Yeah, okay, so let's...
So it has a bunch of caveats, this, right? It has a bunch of explanations because we feel like the way that you're progressing in loot in the game feels fair, feels nice. When you put it objectively, When you
The
put it
drops
objectively.
No, let's be clear with something. The drops don't feel good.
Correct.
That's because of the anime. Because whenever you complete the activity, we get this currency anima that is not used for any part progression, but it's used across all the game. And you're getting significant amounts from Pinnacle.
Yeah, so that was a pretty good.
So that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Now, people are equating that bad feeling of like let's say you're in a raid, you kill a raid boss, and you get 10 anima or 30 anima. It just feels
anima.
bad.
Yeah. To the point that it's like a work quest, which is a trivial
it's just content that you do in 5 minutes.
It gives you like two times more anima that
way more than that.
Yeah.
So yes, the drop, like if you don't get loot, the drop, like if you do an activity, the difference between you getting a drop and you not getting a drop, right now it just feels too much. It's just if you get it, nice, because you got the one drop or the one of the 2 drops in the activity.
Correct.
If you get nothing, you just feel completely shy.
Yeah.
So the gut feeling at the end of the activity is really bad.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing is, okay, does that reflect the gearing pace in the game? And that's where I personally, and I think we don't think that's a fair reflection of the gearing down.
Correct.
Because what we were saying is, we have been in this expansion for like 2 months, which I mean 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And like, basically we've been doing, or at least me, I've been for the most part raiding and doing Mythic Plus.
Yeah.
I don't PvP much, so I'm not even getting the benefits from the event.
Me neither. We both haven't engaged in PvP that much in this time on the expansion.
Yeah. So, and we're thinking, okay, how many upgrades have we gotten? Have we gotten like as reward? And basically, when we're looking at our gear, we came to a conclusion that we're more or less getting 2 pieces of loot
that are upgrades
each
every week. Yeah.
Either between drop from a boss, end of dungeon loot, or weekly
vault. Yeah.
And so we're saying, we're basically getting 2 pieces of loot of upgrade loot per week. And then we're thinking, okay, how much can we realistically get doing PvP? Like by the way that the PvP vendor works and the upgrades that you need, like the amount of honor that you need to put into the thing to upgrade.
Yep.
You're basically like, if you wanna get around 200 pieces of gear.
Yeah.
That's more or less 1 week of grinding honor.
Yeah.
Correct. So basically weekly, and by grinding honor, you'll open the slots on the Great Vault.
Correct.
So you'll get your reward from the Great Vault. So basically you get one piece from the Great Vault and 1 piece that you bought from the vendor and upgraded to a corresponding item level.
Correct.
And that's basically a pace of the game. And we know that you could grind more PvP, but basically the only way to make it fast is to play rated PvP. So play in a competitive play.
Correct.
Which is very taxing. Even if you know it, it's the most amazing thing for you. If you start losing, you're gonna lose rank, and the quality of the rewards are linked to
or your rank.
To your rank. So you wanna be performing as much as possible at top level for hours to no end. Because even though arenas are fast, it's still like you get a couple hundred of honor if you win.
Yeah.
So you still need to grind it for hours, like full on hours. And it's just a few people that can sustain that a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, even for us, even for me who try to complete 10 dungeons a week.
Yeah.
That's a lot of that's a huge.
I haven't been able to
time.
do it. I haven't been able to. I think I've been up to 8.
I like out of the 8 weeks, I have done it twice.
Oh Jesus!
Because,
right.
Because 10 dungeons, it's a lot of time sitting doing the content.
Oh my god!
And a player like me, I don't have I don't play during the day.
Yeah,
I only play during the night.
Yeah.
Which means that every day I have maybe 2 or 3 hours to.
Not even for me, a player that could play through the day. I don't feel the necessity to go.
Exactly. Then
bug
that's
a bazillion mythic plus.
No, and that's the point. That's exactly it. You don't feel the necessity.
Yeah, I don't feel
the necessity.
necessity.
But if we have a PvE vendor that you can cap, you will feel the necessity to reach that cap.
Correct. To the point that I've been enjoying a lot more this expansion because I've been able to play it out finally.
Not only
without feeling that I'm missing out on my main, that I'm not doing correct progression. I'm fine.
No, but more than that, it's because you don't feel like your warrior is being left behind.
Yes, correct, yeah.
Because you know that you can put a couple of hours and get reward.
Yeah.
Even if the end of dungeon reward feels bad at the moment, or if you don't get any drop that week from the raid.
Yeah.
Even if that feels bad, you know that by doing what you're doing is gonna be enough to advance your power that week.
Yeah.
So there is no real pressure into getting and grinding your face against anything in the game.
Correct.
Which I think it's something that benefits WoW a lot.
Yeah, and I was saying I was seeing publication about this issue, and the content creator were saying this is what we asked for.
Yes, absolutely. It just throughout BFA, we had corruptions which were random. We have Titan Forging and War Forging, which
we
were
have
random.
Azerite Trites, we were random.
and throughout BFA was a loot piñata.
Yeah.
For WoW stand. So it was basically giving you loot all the time.
Yeah.
With a bunch of randomness, and it just feel like you were getting trash all the time.
Yes.
And people complain.
Correct.
So what happened? They get rid of Titan Forging, they get rid of all the randomness, and they say, yeah, we're not going to give you that much loot because it doesn't make sense.
Yes, correct.
And now people are saying, oh, but we don't have enough loot.
and then our conclusion is I think the problem is the amount of anima.
The problem is definitely a feeling that when you finish a piece of content, a challenging piece of content.
Correct.
Let's say a raid boss or a Mythic Plus dungeon. It feels bad when you get these nominal amounts of anima that basically add up to nothing compared to what you can just farm in WoW.
Correct. And it doesn't make sense. It feels terrible. It feels terrible that the fact that you are doing this very hard piece of content, and you don't expect loot because
we know that we're not getting loot.
Yeah, but the fact that it gives you less anima than go and do a world quest which takes you 2 minutes,
it feels
is balls. And we know that Shadowlands is in a drought of anima and blah blah blah. But if the world quest has been putting more anima, it makes sense that the actual difficult activities will put more anima on the table.
Yeah.
So that's the feeling. That's the discomfort that gives you. And anima doesn't matter. It's not going to give you more power.
Yeah. So basically, you use anima in the game
for cosmetics,
to buy things for your covenant that basically give you pets, cosmetics, mounts.
Yeah. Zero power.
Those kind of thing, and like quality of life improvement.
Yeah.
More portals to run around zones.
Your zone. More portals to run around.
Yeah, your zone or stuff like that.
More quests in your zone.
Yep.
Right. It doesn't matter if it gives you 250 anima for raid boss or not even 200 anima for raid boss and 150 anima in the Mythic Plus, and you can vary it depending on what level of Mythic Plus are you doing. to make it feel
that would
better.
feel way better because it's like, okay, it's just 100, 200 sounds. And like, especially putting this in perspective with the prices of the thing.
Yeah, the prices of the thing is like, you wanna a piece of
new
cosmetic? No. You want a piece of cosmetic? 5,000K anime.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
You want a new mount? 10K anime.
10K anime. plus every level of upgrade is like 3K anime, 5K anime, 10K anime. I think in the actual activity there's a 20K anime upgrade, which is all that you can have in the thing.
Yeah, so it's like you get these prices that you need things on the 1,000.
Yeah.
And the pinnacle activity in the game is giving you 35 anime.
Yeah.
So you feel like, okay, I'm not getting anywhere with this.
Yeah.
So it just
like
what
it's
they're
fine.
giving you
It's fine
is
that you
not
don't expect.
advancing.
It's fine that you don't expect a loot reward because it's fine because we discussed it that the pace is correct, right?
It feels like if we think about it, it feels right, and it's been right for us.
But the humans, they want some kind of progress and decent reward for sweating.
I mean,
And like,
but
if this is the perfect opportunity because again, the anima system doesn't have any repercussion in your power. So why hold up?
Absolutely.
Why hold up in that kind of reward? There's no reason. It's gonna give you more.
I mean,
no, let me finish. It's gonna give you more cosmetic and that stuff. And then we thought about it. And it's like the only reason that we can imagine is that they didn't craft that system with that in mind. So what Lucho was telling me is like maybe they craft the system because they expected for you to advance the anima system and cosmetic through all the expansion. Right?
which it feels like based on the prices and the rate that you gain anima at, it feels that way.
Correct. Because your maximum gaining like 1,000 anima a day.
If you grind every day, all the work quests,
and that's insane.
Around 1,000 anima per day,
and that's insane. And you don't do it. Like I do it a couple of days. I'm like, I have nothing to do. Well, I wait for a dungeon. I go and do a couple of, but like sitting with the purpose I'm gonna do every single anima quest. No, I'm doing it in the mage, just because I want to upgrade the gear that I have because it gives me a sidetrack to have gear-based upgrades while I find gear in another activities. But beyond that, there's no reason to.
It is absolutely insane to.
Yeah.
It will become very boring, very stale.
Yeah.
Like the world content in World of Warcraft is not designed to be farmed to no end. It is definitely designed to be something that you do in between activities.
Yes.
If you really think about it,
correct.
Like world quest and all this, it's not side content, but like all this world/minor content. It's basically designed to keep you entertained in between the big chunks of progression.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of world quests and all those dailies and all these things.
So we think about it with this anima. So you have the perfect system to give good rewards to the player without giving them loot progression, right? Yeah. So our solution was like, just expand on that system. If you were not originally thinking about expanding it, it's super easy to expand it.
It is basically this path of progress. Like you have different things that you create, and they have different levels. Add one more level to each,
and put more cosmetics in the next expansion.
Yeah, more pets, like on the next patches. More pets, more colors of mounts, more
cosmetics, more armor cosmetics. Easy. You're giving zero power to the player, and you make him happy because you're making him feeling that he's advancing on something.
Yeah, and even for we talk about it, like even for players that are not super driven by cosmetics.
Yeah.
Like you will find it has so much that you'll find something that
cool.
you
like. Yeah, I was checking my. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
That you will say, oh, I don't care about cosmetics, but I think that mount is cool. Or I think that pet is nice.
Yeah.
Even if you don't care about anything else.
yeah, exactly. If you don't care about your upgrades, or you don't care about your table or your mini activity in the sanctum, it doesn't matter. You will find something that tells you, oh yeah, I want that cool mount or that cool pet or that. Like I was checking all my cosmetics in my Ventier thingy, and I was like, oh yeah, the activity cosmetics that you were offering, I didn't like it, but the ones on the actual Sanctum, it was like this red version of the armor that I'm using now. I'm like, oh yeah, I want that. Cool. And I don't care about the rest. So yeah,
absolutely.
You have the solution in your hands, Blizzard. It's easy. We already had an interview with Ian Hezacostas talking about this, and they say that they're gonna put a solution forward. We hope that it's anima.
Yeah.
We hope that it's anima, because anything else, we will skyrocket we will or create a chores kind of problem, or it will make something too efficient, and then people will be done with the expansion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there is no loot problem in Shadowlands. There's just an anima problem in Shadowlands.
Yeah, we don't believe I do believe that the loot is fine.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like once I sit down and I thought about it, and I thought the progression that I was doing with my characters and the type of things that I was doing with my character, I find out that it was fine. Right? Yeah. Especially I've been progressing fine, totally ignoring PvP.
Yeah.
I'm doing good damage. I don't feel behind. I can do the majority of the content easy with my warrior. Like since two weeks ago, I got to that point where I was like, I'm fine, cool. I'm fine for normal progression. my gear is almost 200. I have a couple pieces of 216 because of my dungeon, because of my mythic plus running. I cannot complain. That is the thing about it, right?
Yep.
So there you go. Unfortunately, we run out of time, so we owe you the Monster Hunter World discussion that we're gonna have about the hidden mechanics of the game, which is very interesting.
It was surprisingly engaging.
Yeah, so it will be on the next episode next week. Don't worry about it. We will put that on top and we'll talk about it. But for now, we're gonna pass to our audience questions and feedback. Remember that if you wanna send us your questions, if you are hearing us in any of the multiple podcast platforms that we are, you can send us a Twitter to our handlers at Luis G. Polanco and at the Lone Name Gamer, and we'll answer your questions there, or you can run us to the email that is information down below. Sorry, and or if you're listening to us in YouTube, you can leave it down in the comments below, and we always check those before we do the show. So, our first question of this week is, what type of looter shooter will fit Star Wars better? A type of looter shooter will fit Star Wars better? What? All right.
Yeah, so if you think of looter shooter.
Yes.
So let's say you could have like a Borderlands-like looter shooter. Oof. Or a Division-like looter shooter.
You can build it in a couple of ways. Like, I think about it, you can do it a Destiny-like looter shooter.
Destiny-like looter shooter.
Destiny already has swords, so you can have lightsabers, and you can have subclasses. You can have subclasses where you can be a subclass of a Jedi or a subclass of a bounty hunter or whatever you want in that construction.
I wish, like, you don't have to have lightsabers.
You don't have to have lightsaber, but Star Wars without lightsabers, sad Star Wars. I'm joking. I'm joking. Joking.
You
don't have.
What
you
I
don't have
like the most about Star Wars are not lightsabers, but like the whole
the whole
like
setting.
Imperial troops
Yeah.
and stormtroopers. I find that way cooler.
Yeah,
So I don't know, like a Division 2 with
oh yeah, super
like in
cool.
between rebels and
like abilities and that sort of stuff and classes.
like different types of rebel troops. Or,
Yeah, you know
or
what that
stormtrooper
reminds me?
troop.
You know what is the best looter shooter that I played of Star Wars? Well, it wasn't a looter, but it was more of a shooter, an adventure shooter. It was Rogue Squadron.
Yep.
And you were an elite troop of stormtroopers in the First War, in the Clone Wars. And it was a 4-player base, four entities base, and you would drop into the systems, and you were a stormtrooper. And it was the most fun. All your little troops have abilities. You had abilities to solve like combat puzzles. You have like a special ability where you shoot a rocket. There was another special ability where you shoot like electricity in the air and paralyze people. You have cloak abilities. Yeah, that game was very good.
Something like that would be cool.
Yeah. It was a squadron base. It was super good game. Super good game. Yeah. So there you go. Or you can have it a Destiny-like if you want to complicate your life. Or you can have a Division 1, which the classes and the classes and what you can do in the Division is super flexible and super cool. Because it's not a class, it's what you wear, which is a very interesting concept. Probably in this type, you probably have a class because of the way that Star Wars is built, I guess.
Yeah.
Where you can have, well, I don't know, the Star Wars laws have been muddy recently. Where you can have Force-sensitive powers but not being a Jedi.
I really don't pro that much as like Star Wars fans do.
Yeah.
I just find like the whole military setting of like stormtroopers and all that kind of stuff. It's just very fitting for like a war-like game. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, very actually like very dynamic.
It just like also like we all know stormtroopers, we all know rebels, and these are kind of these blobs of armies.
Yes.
That you can, like in a video game, create a lot of variety in bit, like inside.
Yeah, inside of them. Yeah.
Stormtroopers are not all the same, but you can have like infiltrators and something snipe like.
Yeah.
You know, like that, for example, like that kind of division variety. We're all division agents, but like, you are the heavy guns guy, you know? You're the sniper guy.
Correct.
That's kind of the thing that I was having in mind. Or the Destiny 2 approach. Also, you are the tanky guy. That's sort of, or even the Borderlands kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes.
That's more what I was thinking about.
Yeah. But yes. There is a cool template. Yeah. I think that Massive is gonna at least do a decent job of this future game. I don't know what.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna get very far from what they've been doing from the Division kind of cycles. Like the Division gameplay is solid. The moment-to-moment gameplay in the Division is solid. It's very fun, very engaging.
No, I know what you mean.
Very dynamic, so maybe something closer to that. I don't know if it's gonna be like a first-person Destiny-like shooter. It will be interesting to see that, especially because there will be a stretch in the power of the Snowflake engine, which is designed for the third-person stuff.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see, but yeah, there you go. There is already examples of what can be a good looter shooter Star Wars game. I don't know if a Star Wars Battlefront 2 was a looter. I don't have an idea. That game is such a mess. Or at least a good game now, when they remove all the predatory microtransactions that they used to have. That give it away.
It's just an FPS. Really.
Yeah, it's just an FPS. Anyway. All right. Our second question of the week is how to make transitional loot feel good.
I mean, all loot is transitional until you get to your end build.
Exactly. And how do you make that feel good? Making good loot is the answer to that, right? right? If you make, and we have talked about this in the past, in the episodes where we talk about like how to make loot and what would the loot should make you feel like, and blah blah blah, and do good transition loot is making good loot, like loot that is not necessarily for what you want, but it can inspire you or tempt you or give you an idea or something like that. It doesn't have to be super complex. But yeah, it's just make good loot, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That, I think that's the answer to make transitional loot. How to make it not feel bad when you are moving from one loot that you really like to another is something else different. Right? In all these terms of sunsetting and moving away from the loot and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, any kind of disruptive change like that is gonna feel gnarly for some people.
Yeah. But
so that one is kind of,
But I feel like the answer...
lose situation, that's what I'm trying.
I feel like the answer is still make good loot. You will feel less bad passing from one thing to another if your loot is still good.
100%.
Yeah, there you go. That's the answer to that. And with that, I think that's it, my friend.
That's it. That's all for this week's episode. Once again, thanks for tuning in into A Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at LuisGPolanco. And
I am the Lone Name Gamer. You can find me on Twitter at the Lone Name Gamer. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, send us your love, tell us your opinion, contact us. We're looking for feedback. Please give your feedback if you have an idea how to make this show better. We would muchly appreciate it. You can leave it here down on the comments if you're watching us on YouTube. If you are hearing us in any of the myriad of podcast options that we have, you can tweet to us. We check the Twitters often, or you can write to our emails or contact us wherever you feel like. We much appreciate the feedback. We love you all. Thank you. Share this content. Tell everybody that you're listening to this wonderful couple of dudes on the internet. We love you a lot. And thank you for coming to the Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. And did you know lychee is loaded with essential nutrients like magnesium, phosphorus, iron, manganese, and copper. That's a lot of metal. These minerals are known to increase calcium absorption in the bones and improve the health of the bones. So if you want strong bones, go and find you some leeches. I love leeches. I don't know if I will eat it by itself, but I like them in like drinks and stuff and in ice cream.
Yep, true.
So if you want strong bones, go eat some leeches, my friend. Don't need it.
You should. The skin of leeches is generally a red to pink color when the fruit is ripe and fresh, while the flesh inside is white and translucent. Chinese emperors and other wealthy Chinese prize leeches so much that it caused high demand and a significant consumption rate throughout the centuries.
Jesus. Apparently they're kind of difficult to grow up because they need a warm, wet climate, and it's not that swampy, cannot be that hot. So, the first time that I ate leeches, I thought they were shrimp or a kind of seafood.
Because of the texture?
No, because of the way it looks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I distinctly remember that like I was going to eat the cream and somebody asked a leeches ice cream, and I was looking at it, it's like, no, you eat it like a shrimp ice cream. And it was like, no, it's fruit. And then I realized that I love to buy these aloe vera kind of drinks.